All right, welcome. Good to be here with you all. This is going to be a pretty exciting one today. So I've got some good news up front that I want to share with you guys. Some new news, some crazy news, and then we have the webinar today. So looking forward to it. If you're jumping in right now, let me know where you're from and any high-level questions you have. You've got me for an hour, and we're going to dive into everything GEO, Amazon, AEO, content creation for the new Amazon AI era. We're going to talk a lot about that today. So looking forward to jumping in with everyone here. Please, let me know where you're from and drop a comment in that you can hear me perfectly, and we'll go from there. So looking forward to it. Let me make sure I've got everything lined up perfectly here for you guys. And yeah, all right. Let's see. Good. All right. We've got a few people coming in. That's great. So Nestor from Brazil, what's happening? I haven't had Brazil in a while, so that's great. Good to be in there. Oh, nice. Latvia. We've got some interesting ones today. That's great. Aldous, thanks for jumping in. So while we get a few more comments coming in, just letting me know where you're from. Let's talk about today, and what we're going to talk about today is going to be the AI gap. So this is a little different today on the webinar. We're going to follow along, right? The goal here is we're going to talk about the AI gap, what it is, what it means if you don't close that gap, and then obviously importantly, how do you close that gap? The significance of conversational search on Amazon, which is called Rufus, and driven by the intelligent algorithm Cosmo, and what that means for your content, the good things, the bad things, and the important things to do. That's all going to be covered today as we go through. But the point is, you'll have the opportunity for free to go along with us, add your ASIN, and look at the gaps that you see, and then figure out how to fix that, right? So I hope it's going to be an interactive session, questions coming in as we go. What's up, Joe? Seattle. I know there's a big, a couple of Amazon meetings happening this week. So Joe up in Seattle, good. And yeah, no, my pleasure. Ahmed, good to see you. So yeah, we're gonna jump in and cover that. We'll do a few educational pieces up front and some new news that has come out, some significant things. We're going to cover that for a little bit, and then we'll jump in and look at some examples. I have an example on my side. I want to show you how I think about it and how we can look at the gaps on listings, and then obviously how to close that. And then we'll focus most on that, and then we'll show you towards the end. I'll show you a little bit of our product Helix. And there's a special offer on that as well. So we'll get that going. So let me share my screen and we'll dive straight in. Again, I'm here to answer your questions, and it can be everything around this space, which we're obviously deep on. But any other questions you have, I'm more than happy to answer those. So let me share my screen here. Let's go ahead and share. All right, I can see you guys perfectly. Let me just get the slideshow going here. All right. Don't be shy. Let me hear where you're from, and we'll jump right into it. So today, as a reminder, diagnose the AI gap. So we're going to see this through Rufus's eyes, and we do have a special offer for you at the end that we'll jump onto. But today, there's a few crazy things that have happened that we've been talking about for some time, and we saw one happen last week. So this happened last week, which is pretty interesting. I'm going to show you. Something just changed on Amazon. Most sellers haven't noticed it yet, and it's what I've been saying for a while. If you've been following on my webinars, we get questions like, hey, I don't use Rufus, my mom doesn't use Rufus, what's the point of Rufus, right? And we have foreshadowing. You look at any other LLM platform, obviously Google search engine. What happens if you type in a research-based question into Google? You're getting an AI summary at the top, right? So this happened on Amazon last week. It was actually spotted by a good friend, Jon Tilley. He typed in food sensitivity test into his Amazon mobile app, and instead of getting the typical search results like we always get, guess what? You got Rufus straight away, right? That is a significant shift. Amazon is starting to test giving you conversational search up front, right right out of the gate, right? And we've said this, hey, when they start putting Rufus front and center in front of you, if you're not signaling Rufus and getting recommended, which is different to keyword stuffing, how we used to do it, and you're not up to speed, you're going to be left behind, right? Even more so than currently, right? So I'm going to show you what this looks like, and hopefully you guys can see this. But this is just recorded off of my phone, and let's just show you. All right, so I typed in food sensitivity test, and look what came up. Straight away, we jumped literally into results from Rufus, right? Telling you about it, giving you the different options. There's no typically organic ranked searches here. You're getting a recommendation from Rufus. How are you getting that recommendation? Well, you can look at past webinars we've done. We've dived deep on this. But if you're not signaling it in the right way, you're not getting recommended, and a competitor is, right? And so you've got to make sure that you're doing everything you can to make sure you're sending the top signals to Amazon. Amazon is all in on this. They're making more money out of their customers if they're engaging with Rufus. If you're on board, you're aligned with Amazon's goals and you're going to get recommended, right? So pretty crazy that this came out. One more thing I want to say is on our product side, this is really important. Obviously, we're very AI forward. A lot of our clients are, building their own AI network processes, platforms within their business. And now with our new products, we have API access, right, and MCP access. So you can literally connect your data directly and, start to learn from Helix, which I'm going to talk about later. But, these are some cool things that we're progressing on pretty quickly. Okay, so unpopular opinion. I love starting our webinars with this. The one today is you don't get to decide whether you use Rufus or not. Amazon decides, and Amazon already has. Case in point, we just saw that, right? So, now your mom and 300 million shoppers will enjoy the experience, right? So, even if you choose not to have that conversation with Rufus, Amazon is now deciding and putting it in front of you. We just saw that from the example. So this is going to become more and more common. That was one example. There's a bunch out there. And, why is Amazon, really into this? I mean, one, they have to protect their own backyard from other LLMs out there, like OpenAI, ChatGPT. They have to own conversational search. But at the same time, 60% higher conversion rate happens when customers engage with Rufus. They have conversations, they get their buyer decision questions answered early up front, and they start to trust the recommendations coming through, and they can literally purchase their product without even going to your PDP page, right? That is crazy. And there's 300 million plus now customers using Rufus today with a projection of over $12 billion. So Amazon's all in on this. So you need to be on that train. And that's what we've been focused on for a while now, is how to help you guys. I think this is obviously, you can see this right now. I just talked about it, right? The typical old way is like you search, you scroll, you compare, you kind of look through all the pages, you look at reviews, you do all of this work to really make a decision around a product, particularly ones that you're still, in the research phase of trying to understand which is better than another one, right? And you're working through that process. Amazon used to be very intent focused. Hey, I know what I want to type it in, I'll buy it. But now with conversational search and the ability to have a quality experience, people are researching more on Amazon ever than before, right? And so the new way is now obviously research, criteria, a recommendation, a conversation, and then a purchase, right? So they don't search anymore, they consult. And I think that's happening on Amazon, but on all other platforms, right? It's common in our daily practice, right? All right, give me a thumbs up, or hopefully this is resonating with you. Nicola, always good to see you. Thank you for jumping on, and a few others coming in. So if this is resonating, let me know. If you have questions on this, raise that question right now, because we can stop and we can talk about it. Most of those things weren't built for this, right? That's the gap. A typical way that you used to obviously search is now different. Rufus is now searching your listings as well. They're looking for structured product data. They're looking for maps, mapping in your listing, right? Attributes. They're reading reviews, Q&A, interpreting the back-end fields, all of these things, and they then will recommend your product, right? So the performance metrics that Amazon is looking for are obviously critical, but if you don't have the content and the mapping in place to ensure that you're recommended, it's going to recommend someone else over you, right? And we'll see that today when we look at some of the examples I've got, right? So two listings can sell the same product. One gets recommended, the other doesn't exist, literally doesn't exist, right? You're now getting into a place where you're having a conversation with Rufus without looking at a PDP. And instead of there being 25 results that you might scroll through, you're now probably going to get down to recommended 1, 2, or 3 products from Rufus, right? If you're not in that, you don't exist, literally, and you're missing out on the sales. So, again, you're being saved right now because you have some keyword ranking and you're appearing in the organic results, which is a lot of the ways that we search today. But as this grows more and more, you're going to be missed, right? So it is. I can't stress it more. It's not me just saying this. You have all the the thinkers in our space talking about this right now, and catching on, right? We've been ahead of this game for sure, but everyone is now saying, okay, this is real. We need to make these changes. So what does it mean? The new AI model, there's really two systems that you're from your listing, which is the heartbeat of your business, right? On Amazon, it's the thing that communicates who you are as a product. There's two things you have to do. One is you have to make sure there's a technical mapping in place, right? And we're going to show you what that is. And the second is that you're understanding the typical questions that customers are wanting answered to make their decision buying criteria more simple, right? How do they get the answers to the questions they want so that they are clear on what they want to do from a decision-making purpose? These are the two things that we need to ask and answer, right? And if we're answering the right questions, Rufus is getting the right answers, and therefore it can recommend you, right? So it's pretty clear on that side. So what does that mean, right? So this is a technical mapping graph that we get directly from Amazon. There's an intelligent algorithm, right? This A9 archaic algorithm is gonzo. This is the new thing, Cosmo, for organic results and obviously for Rufus. But if you have this mapping in place, it can connect the dots and then semantically recommend you from keyword searches and recommend you from Rufus conversations, right? So if you have this in place, functions, events, all of these things mapped out and answered in your content, it can then connect the dots, using its brain and then obviously recommending you, right? Used with complimentary is typically missing, and that's a great one that Amazon needs. So it understands if you're researching and looking at some products, so if you ask for a recommendation, if you're connected in that universe, you can get recommended, right? And then obviously there's the Rufus side. This is a lot more subtle in how we get at the questions and how you truly understand an LLM, right? And it's no secret, Amazon's Rufus is driven by Amazon Nevo, it's driven by Anthropic. There's an LLM right there, right? So understanding how LLMs work is critical. And you reverse engineering the buyer decision process, right? Which is what are the most common questions around research questions, and then what are the common questions around decision-making questions, right? And surfacing those and then giving a weighting around those. These are all the things that we're doing all in the back end so that the exact questions that are being asked by customers, right? And we're using primary data, a whole bunch of different data points to get at those questions, right? So if you answer them, it is then intelligent enough to then recommend you for that, right? Great. Ahmed, thanks for jumping in and trying to sell yourself. I appreciate that. But maybe some questions would be great. That'll be much more appreciated. Let's be respectful of everyone's time here, and let's ask questions and show your value that way, right? Instead of trying to sell your services. Okay, so let's keep going. All right. So how do you close that gap? It's listing engineering, not listing optimization, right? And so the days of keyword stuffing, putting keywords into your listing in certain ways, those are gone. It is now structural listing engineering, which, by the way, doesn't mean asking ChatGPT and finding a solution there. You need to structurally engineer your listing, first party data, really understanding what Cosmo needs, the mapping, the Q&A data, everything that we need from there to then ensure that you have all the data points to structure engineer your listing. And importantly, because we've now got this intelligent algorithm, we don't have to overstuff our listings with keywords, etc. You can let it breathe. You can actually let it talk about your USP, your voice, connect with the customer, communicate the things that are important to them, so they read what they want to read, and it aligns with their decision-making criteria, and therefore they go ahead and purchase your product, right? So that's the beauty of where we are. It's such a better place for us to be as brands on Amazon than where we used to be, right? So it is really important, right? Okay, so let's keep going here. So you're going to follow along right now. Let's jump in here, and if you can go to this link, zonguru.link/CosmoRS, you will then get to, if you haven't signed up already, go ahead onto that page. This is our free readiness report that I'm going to show you it in a second. You literally just drop in your email, you validate that email, and then you have access. You can literally drop in an ASIN, and within a minute, you will get a scoring on whatever ASIN you drop in. Whether it's your ASIN or your competitor's ASIN is up to you. But this will give you a deep audit analysis on how well you're optimized for Cosmo and Rufus, specifically around that semantic mapping that I showed you, and then obviously on the Rufus Q&A side. So it'll give you a strong indication, not only where you're strong and weak, but it will show you how to improve it, right? So this is what we're going to look at today in terms of the gap. So I'll give you a second there to go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS. And if you can, drop your ASIN in there, let's follow along, and we're going to do this both together, right? So I'm going to do that in 1 second. All right. Okay, great. All right. Okay, almost there. All right, so hopefully you've done that. Let me know if you're up and going. If you have any questions around that, let me know, please. And let's go forward to the example that I've chosen today. Okay, so we're going to look today at an adjustable standing desk converter. I've chosen this because I know nothing about this category, right? And I haven't researched this product before. It's important on my side to do that because one of the things to understand is that if you've purchased a specific product before, Amazon is going to recommend that product, or if you've clicked on that product, it's going to recommend that for you. We see that in the organic results all the time, right? Previously viewed or whatever it is, right? It's the same on the Rufus side. If you've clicked on a product, purchased it, it's going to include that in your recommendation. So I'm trying to go into this objectively. Again, as you search on Amazon right now and you go along with me, if you do have, if it's your product and you've purchased it before, if you do have another account, it's even better to log into a different account to use Rufus, right? So you're getting that objective, clean slate recommendation from Amazon rather than it being weighted by the recommendation that you have there, right? So that's a really important point, just to make sure you look at as you go through, right? Okay, so let's keep going here. So let me jump out of here. Okay, and I'm going to jump over and actually go through this with you. So okay, so here we go, right? I've typed in adjustable standing desk converter, right? And you guys know we've got all of these results, right? Overall pick, these are some previously viewed as I just researched the space, right? We have over 25 different results, right? I can scroll through this, I can look at pictures, I can look at price points, maybe I read the title here and I just click in, right? That's a typical way that I'm going to start searching as I go. The other way, obviously, is to open up Rufus, right? So open up Rufus. It's going to give you initial suggestions of questions, right? Which you can do, but you can just literally start typing in here any questions you want, right? And I'm going to show you what I typed previously and how I find the product. So this is, the typical way that you're going to search. The product that I chose is actually this one here, Vary, right? So I went to, I started to research a little bit. I chose one and I'm reverse engineering just to see if this will be recommended, right? So this brand called Vary, it's an electric stand desk. I had some criteria. Once I'd asked Rufus a few times, I'll show you, I had some criteria and I said, hey, let me choose this product and let's see if actually Rufus will recommend this product as I ask for the product attributes that are specific to this product, but in a general way, right? And this is how you can reverse engineer and start to look at what that gap is, right? So this is the product that I chose. So I've dropped it into the Cosmo product, right? So this is the one that you've signed up for right now, hopefully. I'm just going to show you what it looks like. So Cosmo Insights, you'll get here. You literally just drop in an ASIN right here and you hit generate report, right? And it's going to generate a full report for you in a matter of a couple of minutes. This is what the report looks like, right? So this is the Vary product, right? You can see it right here. Let me know. Let's see if they've got any new questions here. Nicola Banks. A lot of customers misunderstand our product and return. How can Rufus help customers understand its use, purpose, and uniqueness against competitors? That's a really good question, right? So again, if you're ensuring that your let me see here. How can I help understand its use, purpose? So exactly that, right? So if you're thinking about the questions, right, around your uniqueness, the purpose, it's that the relative information around your product, right? If you think about what those questions are, and you can literally ask this of Rufus, I'll show you. You can ask it of another LLM if you want, but like, what are the important decision-making criteria around your product, right? You will then have understanding of what that uniqueness is. What are those expectations around your product? And you can make sure you surface that in your content. And if you do, Rufus, when customers start searching for that specific type of product, right, and the long tail relationship aspects of your product that are really important, if it understands that your product matches that, it's going to surface you and it's going to recommend your product, and therefore your product is meeting the expectations of what's been searched, and it's going to make that conversion much higher, and the expectation is already set, right? So that's really an important piece. Now, the other part is obviously, if you use our Helix product, which we'll show you towards the end, what you're talking about there, which is like, what is the uniqueness to your product, and how does that uniqueness connect with what customers actually want? We solve for that in our product, right? And when we do that, we actually help you to understand what is your unique selling proposition, what is the uniqueness that you should be talking about your product, to make sure that it actually connects with what customers are looking for, right? So we do that in our product. It's a really important piece, because outside of just being surfaced as a product and being discovered through AI readability, the human conversion aspect is critical as well, right? And so we help you with that. So we'll come back to that, and I'll show you that in a second. But you'll see the prompts that I have right now, and that's an important way for you to test that in Rufus as well. So look at this, right? Overall readiness score 60 out of 100, right? Here's the mapping: 67% on the semantic mapping side, right? Used for function, answered well. Product type, capable of. What type of problem it solves. Used for in the situation, that's actually not that strong, right? Target audience missing. Compared to alternative is missing, right? Used with complementary, that's usually missing, but this one actually has it in there, and a few of the other ones. Like, this is the high level on the semantic mapping side. And then importantly on the Rufus Q&A side, right? Like, what kind of desk does it fit? Does it require drilling or clamping to my desk, right? Here's a whole bunch of questions that haven't been answered. It's a 42% out of 100, right? Can it hold two monitors, right? Does it wobble? How loud is the motor when adjusting, right? So there's an electric motor. How loud is that, right? Can I use ultra-wide monitors? What's the material? Does it have a keyboard tray? Can I remove the keyboard? How fast does it raise or lower, like this as an electric thing, right? What is the weight? Does it have presets for height settings? It doesn't answer the presets, right? This is a critical question that is really important to users, right? So it helps you to understand at a high level, what are the most common questions that people are asking around research and buyer decision making within this space, right? It's surfacing that to you, and then it will tell you actually how to improve it. So with that gap that is missing, we really help you here, because not only do we help you score it, but we'll tell you right out of here, like, how do you improve it, right? Used for situation. Specify additional context like video, conferencing setups, collaborative workspaces, or hot desk scenarios, right? It's telling you how to improve it, right? Here, target audience, right? Explicitly name audience segments like remote professionals, hybrid workers, health conscious desk workers, specific job roles, right? Compared to, make sure that you can do that. So it's telling you in this how to improve your content, because if you improve this content in this way, from the Rufus Q&A and the Cosmo semantic mapping, it's going to connect the dots better. The signaling will be stronger, and it'll have the ability to recommend you, right? So this is critical for you to go in and actually fill it out. We do the full side on the Rufus Q&A side. you know, where you can improve it, right? It's giving you ways to actually improve the Q&A. Like this one, does it wobble? The listing should explicitly address stability during typing or active use, not generally stability claims. Like, get specific about it. That's what people want to understand, right? It's getting this from reviews. People are concerned about how it wobbles when you type, right? How wide is the keyboard tray? How long is the power cord? Does it raise or lower? How does that work, right? And then obviously, you know, you can keep going through this. So this is a really good report because it's giving you, if you want to self-do this yourself, you can literally look at this and improve your content. You're going to send stronger signals to Cosmo and Rufus and therefore get recommended, right? So here's the gaps, right? Now I'm going to show you this in practice of how this actually looks, right? Hopefully this is working for you guys. You know, please, you know, thumbs up or let me know if this is making sense as you go through and that you're working and following along. I'm going to show you, because I recorded this session, right? So I'm going to just open this up and I'm going to show you my Rufus conversation that I had, right? And we'll step this through as I go, right? So I just typed in right off the bat, I'm a CEO and I'm looking for an adjustable standing desk converter. What are the key factors I should consider when choosing a suitable product? So I'm approaching this from the perspective that I know nothing about this category, but I'm also trying to just kind of understand from a reverse engineer perspective. I know my product, right? So let's see what Rufus comes back and says is critical. What is it hearing from customers, from reviews, from the space that is really important? And here it comes, weight capacity, right? So, you know, I gave it a specific direction around me being a CEO because we want to see if that changes how it's going to recommend, right? But weight capacity, height range, how high does it go, right? Like this is critical for you to understand. Like, you know, if I'm a tall person, you know, what is the type of height range I can get off of my desk, right? Surface area, monitor capability, is it single or double, right? Or triple, right? Build materials, aesthetics, you know, you know, executive considerations, stability, quick transitions, cable management. You know, it continues, like health and productivity, ergonomic angles, right? So it's giving you all of these things. And so basically from that, I just came back and said, hey, I actually want one that is electric, right? That is a price point between 150 and 400 bucks, compact, ergonomic, dual monitor. Can you recommend 3 for me, right? So I've come back and asked it to give me a recommendation, right? So what I'm trying to understand here is, will this product that I'm looking at within this range that I've already understood meets these attributes, will it be recommended, or is it going to recommend a different product over it, right? And it came back in a recommended Flexi Spot. I kept going, I think. Let's see, Flexi Spot, Vivo. This is actually comes up in the organic a lot, right? And then we got another one there, right? I actually came back and I wanted to push the price range because the one that I was looking at was $399. So I said, hey, can you give me over $300 and include memory presets, right? Because we know that this is what this product has. It came back and recommended uplift desk, right? And a recommended AVLT, right? It didn't recommend the product that I had, the Vari product, right? So interestingly, I said, hey, well, great. You recommended these two, right? Does the product that I've chosen, does it actually fit the criteria for my decision-making process? So I asked Rufus, I said, hey, does the Varidesk Pro Plus 36 match this criteria? I said, yes, but not really. Actually, the electric is not really mentioned, and the memory presets are not mentioned. But this product has this, right? So it's literally, Rufus is not picking up the signal that this is electric and that it has presets, even though the product has it, right? And so this is a critical problem with not making sure that you're signaling in the correct way. If you're not talking about this in your product, connecting the dots, it's not going to come through in the attributes. It's not going to recommend it, even though that product actually matched it, right? This is the problem that happens. And if you're missing those gaps, you're missing out on traffic, you're missing out on recommendations, and you're literally not setting what is really important to customers, right? So there's a really good exercise here on reverse engineering. So do that for your listing, right? Go in there. Hopefully you log in on one that you haven't bought the product on before. You know, think about your product. Type in, hey, what are the most attributes of this is the general space that I'm looking at. See what those attributes are. Give Rufus your decision-making criteria at a high level and see what recommendations it does. If it doesn't recommend your product, then go back and ask, you know, why did you not recommend this product? And let's see what it says, right? Because there might be some critical gaps that are missing that you need to fill. So that is the gap that you need to look at, right? And get that done. Now, by the way, the product that it did recommend, Uplift Desk, got an 81 out of 100, which is a good score. Anything over 70 is good. 82%, 78%. This is obviously why it's getting, part of the reason why it's getting recommended. So if all things are being equal, right, there's still improvements they can do here, but all things being equal, if it is matching the performance metrics that's there, if it's answering all these questions, specifically connecting the dots for those longer tail recommendations, if it's in place, you're going to get recommended, right? And so this is the gap. That's this is the one that was obviously recommended, right? So really important to see. Okay, any questions on that? Let me know. I hope that makes sense. I hope you've gone through and actually run this yourself to see the gap. And I'm going to jump over and, remember, if you want to look at this, go to zonguru.link/CosmoRS, right? This is the product. Now I want to talk at a high level to our product, which is obviously Helix, right? This is the new product. Most of you might have heard me talking about this in the past. I'm going to leave this up to you to log in and see, but this is what we've developed. It is, we've coined the phrase structural listing engineering. What's really good about Helix is we are solving for two main things, right? One is how to make sure you get discovered, AI readability. But then if you're going to be redoing your listing to ensure that you're sending all the strong signals for AI readability, as I just went through, that opportunity to rewrite your listings and move away from these overstuffed ingredient-based listings that don't make sense to a listing that really understands what your customer is, how to position your product, and how to connect with them emotionally and tell them about the uniqueness of your product that matches their decision-making criteria. This is the opportunity to do that, right? So it's engineered for discovery, crafted to convert. Those are the two goals: maximizing human conversion and AI readability. And this process will take you through it. It's an amazing process, which is one of the biggest problems we have to solve as a marketer, which is like, how do we uniquely position our product within our brand tone, our brand, and really understand what customers want. And this system will solve it for you. I ran it through Helix. I'm going to just show you what it looks like, right? And I took that product and ran it through our product, right? So I can click on Vary. What's really cool is we give you a whole brand strategy document, a full explanation of what your brand tone is and should be. And it's really ensures that the agent on this side knows how to write your content within your brand voice and around your unique selling proposition. We went in and did the product. It highlights, across what are the key features and benefits, the differentiators, certifications, the compliance and disclaimers, what not to mention, right? These are all really critical things to your Amazon business. And then we did a transformation, which is the solution. And look here, the score is 98 out of 100, right? So we took it from 64 to 100% and 48 up to 94 around this product. This is everything that's mapped well. And then we give you the full solution for the listing analysis for the image side. And then we give you ways to upload that directly into Amazon, or as I said, through your API key, MCP, we can connect it there. But we give you, this is the cool part, right? We shifted the listings fundamental strategy from raw keyword accumulation targeting generic desk riser queries to an audience-specific, outcome-driven value proposition that speaks simultaneously to HR and facility buyers seeking certified enterprise-grade reliability and no individual remote workers. So it's really understanding the target audience, who buys this product, and what are the things that they are looking for, right? And we give you the full solution, right? So we show you, I'm not going to walk through this in detail right now, but you can literally run a transformation and look at the copy, what it was, what it is, and then we give you back in search terms, copy, content, all the mapping that you need. Everything is here. We give you a quick launch facility, so you can go in, you can actually see what your new listing looks like. You can quick fix it. And you can also go back into your transformations and look at the whole image side as well, which, by the way, is the most critical thing now, right? I mean, the copy side is the most critical thing for sure on AI readability and helping with human conversion when they're looking at the detail. But as I showed you earlier, Rufus is going to recommend a product, and that might be enough for me to know, hey, I don't need to read the listing. I've got a recommendation, but I want to come and look at the images, right? And so looking at the image stack and seeing what does your image narrative look like versus your competitors, and then obviously how to improve it. We give that all to you here. We give you the insights, the recommendation, the prompts that you can add to any AI technology that you have to get better images, the copy overlays, the EBC content. It's all here. You can check it out, and it's literally just run on credit. So go ahead and you just you run your transformation, your brand, your product, and then you purchase the credits. It's $50 for one listing. You'll get that ROI back in literally seconds once you post that. I can guarantee. We see that in the results. I'll show you what they actually look like right now. These are some of the results, right? So tracking across all these brands that we've done, sessions, increase in sessions, conversion rates, niche rank. This happens literally out of the gate across thousands of listings that have gone through our system, right? So the sessions are the biggest indicator to show you that you're getting more discoverability, right? And obviously conversions going up, you're getting on the flywheel, you're making your money back, literally in a few minutes. So let's see. Yakov, where is the best place to add missing information in the bullets, or find a way to add it to listing images, right? So it's an important point that you're bringing up, right? AI reads both content and images, right? And your EBC content. So all of that is now readable. Attributes, descriptions, all of that stuff is readable, right? So we reckon it depends on what the missing information is. Clearly, you can have that in attributes. If it's important to ensure it's in your copy, put it in your copy, right? If it's a certification or some kind of like external approval for the business, you can put that into your A+ content, right? So no longer is it like so critical, like, hey, if it's bullet or images or overlays, like, is that going to make a big difference to the algorithm? It's not weighted in a similar way to the keyword stuffing that it used to be there, right? So as long as you're ensuring that you're saying it in the most organic way and in the most appropriate way, wherever it needs to be in your listing, you're covered, right? Because the LLM is intelligent enough to read the content in your listing, right? So the shorter answer is included where you think it best should be for communicating to your customers. And if you do that, it's going to make sure that the algorithm can read it as well. Yulia, how to correct this Rufus opinion that your product doesn't have these features from your example? So yeah, so if Rufus is not recommending the product because it's actually seeing that what it's recommending or understanding is different from what your product is, go into your product and actually just make sure those corrections in the attributes, in your copy. If it's saying to you, hey, you're not communicating, that yours is electric, that it doesn't have functional features that are set, make sure you go in and correct that, right? In your copy bullets. That's obviously critical, and it's critical to the buyer decision. If Rufus is coming back and saying, hey, this is important, make sure you answer those questions, right? If you do that, and you push that live, it's gonna re-index that and come back and correct that, right? Okay, so if you want to access the Helix product, remember you can do the free Cosmo readiness report. If you want to access Helix, like I just showed you, and really run through that whole process, you have an agentic system with an agent that will guide you along. You will see things like that you haven't even thought about of your product. You'll see insights around what customers really care about. That's just literally in the brand and the product work. And then you do the transformation. You'll get listings that you can push live and get that ROI back and grow, just like I showed you in the results. You can go ahead and sign up with this offer. Go to zonguru.link/Helix, right? This offer right here, zonguru.link/Helix. And there's a coupon here that is just specific to this audience today. It is Helix 25 May. Put that coupon in, you'll get 25% off your next order. And that expires on May 8th in a couple of days, right? So it's just specifically for anybody who's registered or viewing this webinar. You can get 25% off. Go ahead and get at least one of these transformations done. Going back to what I showed you earlier, if you're not making the shift right now, you are missing out, and your competitors are getting the sales, right? It's the same as in any business right now. If you're not making the shift to AI, you're getting left behind. This is critical for you to do. You need to get in and make these changes. We see it in the results. You see it in what Amazon is foreshadowing. I can't express it enough that this is so critical for you to do. But the beauty of the system, if you use Helix, is like you're using structural listing engineering to get the AI readability, and you're improving your human connection and conversion, which is obviously critical. This is the system to do it. So go ahead and get that done. Again, if you have any other questions, this is the time to ask it. We have a couple more minutes. But if you're curious about this, jump into Helix. Engineered for discovery, right? AI readability, making sure you're getting more traffic, and crafted to convert. At the end of the day, understanding your persona, your target audience better, what they care about from primary data from Amazon, and then making sure you can connect that with your listing and your product, and you can convert them is critical. And so you're getting better recommendations from AI, and then you're getting better human conversion. This is critical, and you'll see your niche rank and everything else improve, and you'll start to beat competitors. And by the way, if you do this now, all of those top competitors that you're competing against, with change comes opportunity. If you're first, you have a better chance of aligning with Amazon's goals, and you're going to get that traffic that they might be better optimized on the organic search results, but not on Rufus. This is your chance to get in and get ahead of them, right? Aldous, all Q&A listings we answer in the bullet description for Rufus. You can do it in the bullets, but you can do it in your A+ content as well, right? There's opportunity there. So your bullets need to, at the end of the day, it needs the mapping, right? And it needs to be able to answer some of the questions through, but obviously not in a question answer way. It's just organically talking about the benefits and attributes of your product, right? So if Rufus is coming back and saying, hey, there's a lot of questions around, is it electric or not, or how loud is the motor, or what's the other one? Is there setting functionality for different levels, right? Make sure in your copy you talk to that in an organic way, right? My product, we're talking about the varied product. It is a silky smooth, whisper, loud, electric motor with dual settings, with dual memory settings, right? So you're talking about your product in a benefit organic way, but because you're saying that up front, you're answering the questions from a Rufus Q&A perspective, right? So you're not going to put a question and an answer, obviously, in your content. You're just addressing it in an organic way, and that will answer it, right? And then obviously, if you run the Cosmo readiness report, it's going to be able to look at that and say, hey, yes, now you're answering all the top Rufus questions. Hey, now you're semantically mapping the technical side of it in the correct way, right? So look for those gaps, improve your copy. You're writing it as benefit attribute copy, right? That is obviously there to connect with customers. If you do that correctly in your bullets, in your A+ content, with your copy overlays on your images, these are things that then can be picked up and read by Rufus and improved, right? Yes. So if you want the link, you can go back and look earlier, but I'll just let you know what it is. It's zonguru.link/Cosmo RS. Cosmo readiness score is the link, right? So I'll just type it here actually in the chat as well, so you have it. Zonguru.link/Cosmo RS. So go ahead and use that. This will get you the free access to the Cosmo readiness score, and you can go ahead and type that in and use that. And then obviously, if you want to use Helix, which is is critical to your business right now and getting this information, you can go ahead and type in zonguru.link/Helix, and then make sure you use Helix 25 May to get that 20% off. Good. Okay. I'm done with this. I hope that was really helpful. I hope you followed along and you got your readiness score. You can see the gaps in there and you can think about ways to improve your content mapping. Do that, put it live, rerun the readiness score and see the improvements that have happened, or go ahead and use Helix and redo the listing. I think that's critical right now because, if you're going to do your listing and make sure it's signaling AI in the right way, use the opportunity to rewrite your listing around your unique selling proposition in your brand tonality, answering the right questions upfront that customers care about so that you can improve your conversion. If you do that, you're winning on both ends, right? You're winning on your content and you're winning on the AI readability, and then you're aligning with the Amazon flywheel and your revenue just grows. So, yeah, no problem. Thank you for jumping on. I appreciate it. One last question there. I see a few more questions. Sorry, it looks like I missed out a little bit over here. So let me just scroll up and look at some of these questions. I will make sure I answer them. So let's see. Where's the best place? We answered that one, Julia. How can we okay, so Mohammed, how can we fill the feed of Rufus in Amazon seller for listings to improve customer shopping experience, right? So you simply write your content and your copy in the right way and then reload that up to Seller Central, right? It's going to reverse engineer and understand if you're talking about the benefits and the attributes in the right way that matter to Rufus, it's going to get the answers it needs for the questions, and therefore it will surface you, right? I talked about that a little bit earlier, so hopefully that helps. Does Rufus make a live check on your product? Like if I update the title today, does Rufus check it? So yeah, Rufus is constantly updating, right? But think about it, it's not just looking for questions. Rufus is it's an intelligence algorithm that's trying to understand what are the key questions that people will ask around this category, right? This category and this product. Research questions and buyer decision-making questions. Where it's getting those insights is from all it's learning about the whole category, all the common product attributes, the product benefits, right? Looking at reviews, understanding what reviews are, looking at Q&A questions, right? All of these kind of things that are important. It's going to analyze all that data, research it, and then put it together into the most important questions that are being asked. Like, just think about it. If you're looking for a product, what are the typical questions you're going to ask, right? So it's looking for the commonalities across that, and then surfacing that when you see those questions that come up on the left-hand side, the generic ones, right? It understands from the collective space, like these are important questions that customers are asking, and so it's going to surface that to you, right? Or if you go and say, hey, what are the most common attributes, benefits that need to be asked around a product, it's going to surface those, right? So just think of this like deep research intelligent being that's going researching the whole space and then surfacing the most common questions, and that's obviously what we're doing with our Rufus side of it. So I hope that helps. Helix is not a course, it's a product. It's an AI forward technology. Use it, it'll guide you along, and you will re-optimize your listings, right? So add my listing in your tool. It says I need to update Q&A for Rufus. Yes, absolutely. You need to do that through your content, right? You can use your A+ if you don't have your A+ content from brand registry, you need to get that. But if you have just the standard one, you can use that as well. Absolutely, you can update that, right? And by the way, so Helix is not a subscription; it's a credit base. So you do one listing transformation, you pay a credit. That's it, which is pretty cool, right? So sign up, it's free. Get in and go for it and use it, right? Good. Okay. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. The replay will be coming out, so you can check that out. You can see this on YouTube and obviously on LinkedIn. And we will be looking at some future ones. We will go through, show you more of the gaps, and obviously surface new news to you as we get it. But this space is moving rapidly. You need to have a partner on this that can help keep you guys ahead of that. Hopefully it's us for you, and you get to use our product. Check it out, and good luck out there, and we'll see you on the next one. There is a partner webinar coming out next week. We bring on specific experts who will talk to their areas of expertise, which brings a lot of value to the customers. And then we'll have another follow-up on this in a couple of weeks with the latest and greatest that are happening around the Amazon AI space and the shift that's happening and keeping you guys ahead. Enjoy, and we'll catch you guys soon. Cheers.